Have you ever gazed at the ocean and wondered what secrets lie beneath? For thousands of years, one story has captured our imagination more than any other: the legend of Atlantis, a magnificent civilization, lost in a single, terrible day. Atlantis speaks to our love of mystery and our curiosity about the past. The idea of a perfect society swallowed by the sea is powerful. Explorers have searched for it, scholars have debated it, and artists have dreamt about it. Why does this story hold such power? Maybe it represents a perfect world we wish existed, or maybe it's the mystery of its disappearance that draws us in. Even in our mapped and measured world, Atlantis endures as a puzzle. It reminds us that there may still be wonders hidden from view and that our history might be richer than we know. The story keeps the spirit of exploration alive for scientists and dreamers alike. So, we begin a journey, not across the water but through time and ideas. We'll explore where this story came from, and the theories that try to explain it. Is Atlantis a real place waiting to be found, or a powerful story meant to teach us something? The search for Atlantis is more than a hunt for ruins. It's a search for understanding, a quest to uncover a piece of our collective human story. Whether fact or fiction, Atlantis endures as one of history's greatest mysteries. Every great mystery has a beginning, and Atlantis begins with Plato. Over 2,000 years ago, Plato wrote about Atlantis in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias. He claimed the story was passed down from Solon, who heard it from Egyptian priests. These priests spoke of a war between ancient Athens and the mighty empire of Atlantis, 9,000 years before their time. Plato didn't present Atlantis as a fairy tale, he gave names, places, and a timeline. He described it as an unfeigned truth, not fiction, sparking endless debate. Was Plato being honest, or using a clever technique to make his philosophy more powerful? By linking the story to Egypt, a land of ancient wisdom, Plato gave Atlantis credibility. The legend's origin isn't a forgotten scroll, but the mind of one of history's greatest thinkers. That's what makes Atlantis so compelling and so hard to dismiss. It wasn't whispered by sailors or sung by poets, but written by a philosopher obsessed with truth. He presented it as history, and because of his reputation, the world has been trying to figure out if he was telling the truth ever since. The mystery of Atlantis is, in many ways, a mystery about Plato himself. Did he believe it, or was it a masterful tool for teaching? The debate continues, fueled by the authority of Plato's words. Atlantis endures because its origins are as enigmatic as the city itself. And so, the legend lives on. Plato didn't just mention Atlantis, he painted it in vivid detail. Atlantis was an island kingdom of immense power and wealth, located beyond the Pillars of Hercules in the Atlantic Ocean. Larger than Libya and Asia combined, it was ruled by kings descended from Poseidon. The city was a marvel, a central hill, surrounded by rings of land and water, connected by massive canals. Rich in resources, Atlantis boasted abundant food, timber, and a mysterious metal called orichalcum. The Atlanteans were wealthy and powerful, with a massive army and navy. For generations they lived in harmony and virtue, but over time, greed and ambition took hold. No longer content with their own island, they set out to conquer other lands, including Athens. The story takes a dramatic turn. The virtuous Athenians defeat the mighty Atlanteans. Then disaster strikes. Earthquakes and floods swallow Atlantis in a single day and night. The island vanishes beneath the sea, hidden by an impassable barrier of mud. This catastrophic end cements Atlantis as the ultimate lost civilization. Plato's description is so detailed it blurs the line between myth and history. Was it a memory, a warning, or pure invention? The vividness of Plato's Atlantis is what keeps us searching for the truth. The city's fate is a haunting reminder of greatness lost to time. Was Atlantis meant as history, or as a lesson? Many scholars believe Plato invented Atlantis as a philosophical tool. In his dialogues, Plato often created ideal cities to explore ideas about government and human nature. Atlantis in this view was the opposite of his ideal Athens, a society that fell from grace due to greed and arrogance. The story becomes a warning about the dangers of hubris. Plato might have been urging his fellow Athenians, don't repeat Atlantis's mistakes. The contrast between virtuous Athens and corrupt Atlantis is deliberate, a battle between moderation and excess. Yet, Plato insisted the story was true, giving specific details about its location and history. Why risk his reputation on a fabrication? Perhaps he adapted a real disaster to fit his message. The answer may lie somewhere in between, a real event reshaped for philosophy. This ambiguity keeps the debate alive. Atlantis is both a cautionary tale and a tantalizing mystery. Its true nature remains elusive. If Atlantis was real, where is it? This question has inspired countless searches. Based on Plato's description, many have looked in the Atlantic, near the Azores, Canary Islands, even the Caribbean. The ocean is vast, and after thousands of years finding a sunken city is daunting. In 1882, Ignatius Donnelly popularized the idea of Atlantis as a lost continent, the source of all ancient civilizations. But modern science has found no evidence of a vanished continent in the Atlantic. Plate tectonics show continents don't disappear overnight. Despite this, the search continues, with sonar and satellite scans revealing intriguing but unproven formations. No discovery has confirmed Atlantis' existence. The dream of finding Plato's island endures. For many, the search itself is the real adventure. Skeptics argue Atlantis is pure myth crafted by Plato for a purpose. No other ancient text mentions Atlantis, not Greek, not Egyptian, not any culture. Archaeologists point out, great civilizations leave traces, but Atlantis leaves none. No pottery, no ruins, no art, nothing to mark its existence. Plato often used fiction to illustrate his ideas, as in the allegory of the cave. Atlantis fits this tradition, a myth with a moral about power and corruption. Even Aristotle reportedly believed Atlantis was Plato's invention. For skeptics, the case is closed. Atlantis is a brilliant story, not history. Its enduring power is a testament to Plato's skill, not to its reality. Searching for Atlantis, they say, is like searching for Narnia. The real mystery is why we want to believe. What if Atlantis is a distorted memory of a real event? Some believe Plato based his story on a real disaster, exaggerated over time. The most compelling candidate is Santorini, ancient Thera, home to the Minoans. Around 1600 BC, a massive volcanic eruption shattered the island, causing tsunamis and devastation. The Minoan civilization on Crete was weakened and eventually collapsed. The parallels to Atlantis are striking, a prosperous island destroyed in a cataclysm. The timeline doesn't match perfectly, but translation errors could explain the gap. This Minoan hypothesis is the most plausible real-world link to Atlantis. Other candidates include Troy and Helike, real cities once thought mythical, destroyed by disaster. Plato may have woven real trauma into his grand narrative. Atlantis could be a memory, reshaped by time and imagination. The legend's roots may lie in history, even if the details are lost. So, is Atlantis misunderstood history, or pure fiction? One theory says Plato worked with a real story, perhaps the Minoan eruption, embellished over generations. The details grew epic, the location shifted, and Plato used the legend for his philosophy. This view honors both history and Plato's creativity. The other theory, Plato invented Atlantis entirely, crafting the ultimate cautionary tale. He gave it names and details to make it convincing, but it was always a tool for teaching. Choosing between these theories depends on how much faith you put in oral tradition versus individual genius. There's no definitive answer. Both have strengths and weaknesses. The ambiguity is what keeps the debate alive. Atlantis lives in the space between reality and imagination. What do we truly know about Atlantis? Beyond Plato's words, very little. No physical proof, no confirming texts, just theories and dreams. The mystery is a large part of its appeal. In an age where most questions have answers, Atlantis remains a romantic unknown. It's a blank space on the map of history, filled with our hopes and fears. Atlantis is about a paradise lost, a perfect society destroyed by its own flaws. The legend resonates because we see those same flaws in our world. It's a warning, but also a hope. By searching for Atlantis, we search for wisdom. Perhaps one day, evidence will surface. Or perhaps Atlantis will always be a legend, living in our imagination. Its true power is in making us wonder and explore. The search for Atlantis is ultimately a search for ourselves, and that is why the legend endures.